Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson? That's a big choice in underdog fantasy. They both are legit rushing quarterbacks, and they can easily be QB1. Lamar Jackson, a former MVP, amazing quarterback, but does he do enough from a fantasy perspective to take him over Kyler Murray? That is the biggest question here. ADP, 55.9. So, he's going right in the range of Josh Allen and Kyler Murray. My opinion, Josh Allen above these two, but Kyler Murray and Lamar Jackson is a huge decision. Now, something going against Lamar Jackson, 32nd in pass attempts in 2019 and 2020. Now, the thing that pushed him over the edge in 2019, he threw the most touchdowns in the NFL. Threw 9% of his passes for touchdowns. 9%. That's absolutely insane. The next closest person to him in 2019 for touchdown percentage was Russell Wilson at 6%. That's a 3% gap. That is absolutely nuts. Okay, that's probably not something that is something you can rely upon on a yearly basis, and I wouldn't necessarily count on him doing that. It's just really hard to predict that, and if you're banking on an outlier performance, that's just, I don't think that's an avenue for success. Okay, so now something that's going for Lamar Jackson, past 2 seasons, by a pretty much a landslide, leading quarterbacks in rushing. Okay, now just how dominant he is on the ground over the past 2 seasons, in the NFL, he is 6th in rushing. 6th. That's including running backs. Okay, he is 6th in rushing with 14 rushing touchdowns. So there's legit upside there on the ground. And over that span, he's averaging 73 yards a game on the ground. So that's a solid 7-point floor just with rushing yards. That's a legit floor that you can rely upon on a weekly basis. Which Lamar, he just has to pass well enough. Now, what's been holding Lamar back, right? As we saw last year, the passing game for Baltimore was, it was okay at best. It was pretty lackluster, in my opinion. And, we saw Marquise Brown be ineffective. Mark Andrews is a pretty steady hand, so I think we can rely upon him. But Willie Snead wasn't really getting it done. Miles Boykin wasn't really getting it done. So what have the Ravens done? The Ravens, they've added Rashad Bateman, a legit receiver that they spent a high draft capital on. They brought in a veteran, Sammy Watkins. Week 1 MVP, Sammy Watkins, the past 2 seasons. So, those are 2 pretty good threats. And I don't think it's crazy to think that Rashad Bateman may be wide receiver 1 on this team going forward. But the thing is, he's not going to pass the ball a ton in the Ravens offense. They got that 3-headed monster at running back. And I think that's probably going to continue. So unless Lamar is being extremely efficient in the passing game, it's just really hard to see how he's going to be QB1, right? Even last season, he had a 6.9% touchdown rate. Still really high, but he just doesn't throw the ball enough. So, that leads me right into Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray getting drafted just before Lamar Jackson. 8th in pass attempts in 2020. Arizona, they're pushing the tempo. They're throwing the rock. They're running, shooting. They don't care about your huddles. They're pushing the tempo. They're going to go score some points because that's what they do. Okay? Kyler Murray, 2nd in quarterback rushing since 2019. Really good. Really, really good. And I would dare say on this team, he's probably the best runner they have. You know, they have Chase Edmonds, and Chase Edmonds hasn't had, he hasn't had 100 carries in a season in his career. They have James Conner. He's more like a goal line back at this point. Injury riddled. They're probably bringing him in to be a bruiser. You know, that Chris Berman, that kind of a guy. So, really, Kyler Murray, he looks like he's a guy. You know, he looks like he's going to be the go-to guy on the ground. And we've seen him in games where he just scrambles around like a la Johnny Manziel against Alabama. That's just what he's going to do. He's going to scramble. He's going to extend the play. He's going to get those yards, which contribute to his rushing floor. So, I think that looks really good. And last year, he had a shoulder injury after 9 games. First 9 games of the season, he had 10 rushing touchdowns. He's punching the ball in the end zone, and he doesn't care what you or your mom had to say about it. The man is getting it in the end zone if he's healthy. Now, I think when you draft, you gotta think he's gonna have a clean bill of health, because if you don't, then you shouldn't draft him. So if Kyler Murray is going to be healthy for a whole season, I think 15 to 20 touchdowns is very reasonable. And we were talking about touchdown percentage with Lamar. Last year, Kyler Murray, 4.7%. 4.7%. That is extremely low. Now, if he gets that up to, say, 6%, I would say that's relatively modest. He's probably QB1. Kyler Murray, he looks really good. The Cardinals, they replaced Larry Fitzgerald with Rondale Moore, someone who looked really good in the first preseason game. And I think that's a really good upgrade there. And Rondale Moore looks like he's going to be a guy for the Cardinals. And if Kyler Murray has a legit second option behind DeAndre Hopkins, it's looking really good, because, he's going to pass the ball a ton. And if he just got more quality options to go to, it can only mean good things for the Cardinals and Kyler Murray. So if you went on to enjoy the video, like the video. And, if you want some of this teamriseorfall.com action, what are we about? Use code TEAMA. That's me. Use code TEAMA for $5 off your first month. Come in. Hit me up in Discord. Say hi. Tell me I'm ugly or something. Whatever you want to do. $5 off your first month. Code TEAMA. And I'll see you all in the next one.